Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
That's the man of the hour right there, huh?
What's going on, man?
Man, we in the deep freeze again, and
Deep freeze. yeah. Come back here. Shoot, they minus. What did they say? Minus 25.
Oh my
minus about
goodness.
15 on Tuesday, and probably about minus 8. Let you get a little warm.
hey, you need the long johns and those in that weather.
Oh yeah.
Hey, some of the folks listen to us, Ken. They don't know about the long johns.
Shoot, they better.
But Ken, we are at All-Star Weekend. Before we get into the conversation, folks, we want you to hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification. It really helps our numbers. It helps us get the word out. We noticed that a lot of you are watching. You're not subscribed. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and become a member so that we can communicate even when we're not live on the air. So, Ken, I want to start with the words that came from Draymond Green. They said to him, and I'm not going to quote him, I'm going to paraphrase.
Okay.
And he was asked the question, is the NBA boring? And I guess the first thing I want to talk about, we'll get to kind of what he said about the foul situation. But first of all, he talked about how, the three-pointer has become such an issue in the league. And that's the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, wasn't Golden State the one that started the whole evolution of the 3-point shot?
Yeah, they were.
What were your thoughts, man, on Draymond?
I mean, Mike, I've never met Draymond in my life, but I mean, how can I put it, man? I don't want to be personal, but I just think that some of the things that he said, I agree with, as far as the three and the layup. There's just way too many threes taken in the NBA in games. Just you say to yourself, you see a guy coming down the court, and he just pulls up and shoots a three. Not one pass, not even a thought about a pass to another teammate, and just jacks up threes. I mean, we talked about it before. Boston, I think they probably on average for about 45 threes 50. A game. Okay, see, I was being conservative. So it's gotten to the point where it's just not a thoughtful game anymore. I mean, I always say it's either a three or a dunk. That's what they're looking for. No movement. Everybody's sitting out on that 3-point line. You got guys who are 6'10", 7 foot. They shooting threes. No more banging in the in the paint. No mid-range game. And it's if you're looking at the game and you're watching it, you're saying to yourself, this guy he was right under the basket for a layup, and he passing it out for a three. I'm like, I always say this: the closer you get to the basket, the better chance, higher the percentage chance that you're gonna make it. Now they don't care anymore. They want to shoot that three. He mentioned analytics, which everybody's using it. As far as the game is concerned, you have to look that everybody's not a 3-point shooter. I'm sorry, everybody's not. And you got guys out there just taking threes. I'm looking like, okay, you should be down low, banging, drop stepping and everything else. But that's not the game anymore. They're looking for guys who can, shoot the threes. And it's, the thing about it, it's in the college, high school. You see it everywhere.
Everywhere.
That
grade school.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they don't call it that no more, but I don't know. Elementary school,
middle school, yeah.
Middle school, right?
Well, let me say this. My niece, my great niece, she plays basketball. I see it, like you said, I see it there too. I'm like, oh my! I said, okay. I've been watching too much of Curry, so I guess they feel they can make threes too. What do you think about it?
Ken, you reminded me, man. I saw this clip on YouTube for this little kid. They must have been probably in the 6th grade or something, man. They went to the went to the basket and scored, and this kid bucked up like he was, like he was Giannis, man, and talk. I was like, what? How about learn the game, enjoy the game, man? Ken, I agree with you. I'm amazed that people say a guy that shoots 35% is a good shooter. That means you're missing out of 10 shots, you're missing what? 6.5, 7 shots.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, but you're a good shooter. Like, we have the idea. Okay, let me say this about the 3-pointer. The 3-pointer is probably, other than the dunk, the most exciting shot that you can hit. It's long range, it's deep, you're waiting in the air for it, and especially when it hits the twine, doesn't even touch rim. Right. It's like, oh my God, right? But those are few and far between. Most of it, and see, this is the problem. A lot of people don't watch games, Ken. They watching highlights. So in highlights, what do you see? All you see is the good stuff in highlights. You don't see that the guy missed 3 or 4 threes in a row. You see the one that he hit. So to me, I think it's terrible basketball, man. I look at these young players; they don't develop their game. I like what the WNBA is doing in the one-on-one challenge with Nafisha Cowler just won they went one-on-one against each other, right? In the NBA, you have guys that are simply what they call them, 3-and-D.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what? As a basketball player, when did you not want to develop your overall game, improve on your ball handling, improve on your passing, improve on your defense, improve on your mid-range, your turnaround game, your driving game? All these guys do is just get up 1,000 shots. They just moving around the 3-pointer. Like you say, it is to see professional basketball players run down to the corner and sit there and just wait on the pass, Ken. Spread the floor.
Yeah.
There are very few, and this is, I think we're living in the era where there's very few basketball players in the NBA that can get their own shot. There's just very few.
Yeah. That's
Most
true.
guys cannot. Most guys need to run off a pick. They need for people to draw people away from them so they can get an open shot. We do not have the creativity of the game is gone. But Ken, I'm also going to say this about 3-pointers. The referees, the rules do not allow for physical 2-point mid-range game anymore. As soon as you bump a guy, Ken, as soon as you bump a guy. And then you got, and okay, let's, this is a good segue into what Draymond Green said also. Basically, Draymond said, if you're new in the league, you shouldn't get those calls. You have to earn getting calls. The last time I checked, a foul was a foul, wasn't it?
Right. But they're doing that right now anyway.
It didn't matter if it wasn't. Exactly, Ken. Like, I don't even understand his point, because we see these young players that are doing, man, I'm like, man, they Maul, dude. How did he not get that?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
He not LeBron.
He not.
Okay. He not. And let's be honest. It's American players that get those calls. Jokic don't get those calls. Let's be honest. Luka don't get those calls. That's why Luka always complaining and getting mad. And I know he over the top, but it's American players that get those calls, Ken. Let's be honest. If you watch,
Mike,
watch what's going on,
that.
Man, notice it, Ken.
Take a look at
notice,
that.
Man, look how much Giannis get beat up. Giannis get beat up, man. That could almost be a foul on every time he go to the hole. You look at these guys. And it's these American basketball players. And again, like you said, I'm just trying to be analytical about what he said. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. Sure. I'm just trying to be analytical. And from what I see LeBron getting every call almost. And when LeBron don't get a call, he complaining the heck out of it. Okay, the Steph get plenty calls. Come on, man. Listen, these American ball players get plenty of calls. And I think Draymond basically said there should be favoritism in the NBA. If you've been around for long enough, Ken, you supposed to get those calls. If you haven't, you shouldn't get them because you ain't been. And did you? He can just let me just say this. He said that that players should be told. He said you should be told. You ain't been here long enough. You ain't earned that call. What?
Hey, you got to think about who said that. But anyway, I remember when Patrick Ewing came into the league. His first year, he didn't get a lot of calls. And it's been like that, I'm going to say, I'll say since day one. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But, I guess, when you see teams, let's just say that are trying to rise up as far as, in the standings and things like that, or teams that are coming up, like a team like Houston or maybe Detroit, down the stretch, they don't get the calls that they should get. It's, I call it NBA politics, but that's, I remember when, I hate to use this one too, is when Kareem used to play with Milwaukee, when they were in the finals against Boston, there was so many calls that were not called. It was just, it was a shame because you think like, they playing 6-on-5 or just what?
Yeah. I think he's completely inaccurate with that take on it. The best, the stars of the league, most of them get the calls that they want. I would say more American players get calls more than international players. It's the bias in the game that exists there. It's always been there. And I feel like it should be fair. It should just be, I don't care if this is your first game, if you get hacked, it's a foul.
Hey,
if
Mike,
you go ahead, Ken.
Let me say this. And this is why now the NBA players have a hard time. They struggle in the Olympics because these refs are a little bit more neutral than the NBA refs. And they looking at the refs like, why didn't you get that call? Because you didn't get fouled.
Yeah. And the international game is more physical.
Right.
Okay. And there's no 3 seconds. So in the international game, you running in the bodies, man. You hitting bodies, and it's more physical. It's like the NBA used to be. And you're right. They have problems with that, man. So Draymond made these comments during the All-Star Media Day. I don't know. Last time I checked, I don't think he was an All-Star. But he's talking during Media Day, man. I'm just not impressed, Ken, by a lot of what analysts talk about. I don't think they really take a step back from the game. And if you're going to talk about the game, you can talk about the game from the inside, but you got to understand not everybody's seeing the game that way. People are fans of the game. You might say, well, who cares what the fans see? Well, the fans actually pay money. Right.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So that should be some concern to you. And my take on all of this is that he's not a good spokesperson for what's happening in the league now, especially a guy that has been caught up in all the things that he's been caught up over the years, man. There's no credibility there. I do agree with some of the things he says, but to me, it was a waste of mic time because I just don't think Draymond is a great sportsman for the future of the game or where the game exists now. And I know there's some heads that's in the NBA that know him that would say, I'm full of this, I'm full of that. I'm just a fan. And I'm just telling you from my perspective, I thought it was also is something that if he thinks the game is boring, what is he doing about it? But you a player. If you think the game is boring, and you're not just a player, you are Draymond Green, a champion. Okay, nobody can take that away from you. Wasn't Draymond Defensive Player of the Year one time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he earned some scrapes, so nobody's taking that away from you. But if you think the game is boring, as a icon of the game, what you doing about it? Okay, What you doing about it? I don't want to hear about it. What are you doing about it? So Draymond, why don't you do something about it if you think the game is boring? Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I would rather more people play like him than they play like Steph, because everybody can't do Steph.
No.
You understand? I'd rather have more ball players. Oh, Ken, listen, they get that little jersey on. They get. Hey, Ken, they get out in the driveway. They don't layups in the driveway no more, but
oh man,
you know what I mean. But folks, we want to hear what do you think about the comments that Mr. Green made, and your input on it, and again, he's entitled to his thoughts. I don't disrespect those. I just disagree with them. So we are in the midst of the All-Star weekend. Talk to me, Ken.
All right, Mike. So the 3-point contest. Dame Lillard defending his, championship back to back. This would be his. They call it 3-peat.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, Mike. I mean, he struggled. I wish he would have won, but hey, he couldn't get to the second round. Homeboy, Tyler Hero was the winner.
Okay. From the crib.
Yeah. So first round had, I think he was, I'm gonna say tied for the low score, but second round came out, beat Buddy, who won second place. I'll say this, Mike, for the 3-point contest, I mean, you just have to have a rhythm. And and then you're sitting for so long, it's gonna take you a little time to get that rhythm. And then it just seems like, it's just too much time in between, when they get on the floor to the time they have to shoot. So they may want to look at that, and and I don't know if you can remember, Mike, when they used to have the let's just say back in the day. I always thought they had, and I could be wrong, both ends of the court.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay, maybe then I may be wrong about that. But yeah, it's just I mean, shooting is a rhythm thing, and while you warming up, and then you got to sit for a while. I don't know if that's again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ken. Maybe it's too many people. Maybe it's too many people. Maybe you just go down to,
top 6.
3 or 4 people, man. Top 6. You still sitting for a long time. And then because you look at Buddy first round was dope.
Oh man, I know
he couldn't miss.
Yes, man.
Now if he had a sat down and had one guy go ahead of him and get back up, or maybe 2, he might still have some rhythm. But what happened the second time? Even though he finished second, it was nothing compared to his first round.
No.
And so you're right, Ken. It's all about rhythm, but it goes to show you. I mean, 3-peat is hard. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it's hard to go back and win some 3 times in a row. And so I wasn't even, I thought, yeah, if he won it, bring it back to Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? Keep it at the crib. That's what I wanted. But I'm like, man, come on. You can't win. You can't win every time, man. Sometimes you just got to bow out gracefully. I thought if he could have made it to the second round, then it probably would have been on. But just that first one coming off, right. And he coming off a little calf thing too, where he ain't played. So really, it was like, was it the best opportunity for him? I'm happy for Tyler. Definitely happy for him, man. He just needs to get some D. If he learn how to play some D, then he's gonna be a cold boy. If Tyler Hero ever say, listen, I'm gonna put on some work to become a good defensive player, Tyler Hero could be a star in this league. But he's always gonna be just a 3-point shooter, an offensive threat, because he hasn't developed that knockdown defense. And I understand it's a lot of work. Your offense will suffer, dog. Go ahead, Ken.
The other thing, Mike, and I kind of noticed it yesterday, is that, as a shooter, you're picking up, you're picking the ball out of I call it the little tray. Some players just like that that bounce pass or that pass to them to, set themselves up for the shot.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
that may be something else they may want to look at too. It's just
Yeah.
a nuance that, shooters, they like it, maybe from one angle to whatever, another
Yeah.
angle, but picking that ball, takes a little time and you just got to get used to it.
I that's why I was hoping that AJ Green would not get in it, because I
Okay.
thought AJ to catch, and AJ's on the move. I mean, he running, he grabbing, he's shooting. And I just thought for him, for the way that he works and how much energy he puts into his shot and to create space and to do that, that's not a dude that's going to sit back and just shoot threes and hit threes. AJ and Lillard even made this comment. He said, dudes out there, he'll throw the ball, run and go catch it and pull up. I mean, that's his routine, and a
Right.
3-point shooting contest, like you say, is not for that, man. So I have to be honest with you. I tried to watch I tried to watch the Rising Star game, man, and I'm glad the G League, and it's a shame, the G League team beat the Rising Stars. Ken,
you hungry, Mike?
Man, that's the problem with the NBA. Listen, where is the pride? The G League boys are supposed to be the boys that are good but not good enough to be in the NBA. Have to earn. They come up, they come down, 10-day contract, whatever, 2-way deal, whatever. But they're not supposed to be the dude that is the future of the NBA. What is that team called, Ken? Rising Stars. The future of the NBA. And they get whacked. Now, that is the problem, because those players have nothing to play for.
No.
They have nothing to play for. Ken, how can you watch players that do not compete? It's too much money in the game, Ken.
It's a lot of money, Mike. And the thing about it, the people or players that were in the G League, they want to get to that NBA level. So, they're going to, let's just say, show out to get noticed. I don't blame them. I would be doing the same thing. But
listen, if I was a rising star and you came up here trying to say that you deserve to be on this level where I'm at, you better believe it's a dog fight. I'm not. See, this tells me that players, NBA players, and I'm not going to infer this to all of them, but I'm going to say a majority of NBA players, in my opinion, they don't mind losing. Losing doesn't bother them. They just keep it moving. We have another game. But see, Ken, we're not accustomed to watching basketball like that. No, because we've seen, man, we've seen Dr. J. We've seen Magic. We've seen Bird. We've seen Kobe. We've seen the GOAT. We've seen all of these eras of basketball. And one thing we saw in each era was this competitive spirit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That we're gonna go out there and we're gonna give 100%. We saw players play with broken fingers and dislocated shoulders and ankle injuries. Well, what about Isaiah playing on one leg? We seen players that competed. The competition of the NBA, I hate to say it, folks, I love the NBA. Listen to me. I love the NBA. But when I watch the NBA, the competition it just ain't there, man. Even in these games, they play to a certain score, when they start playing.
I'll say about 6 to 8 minutes into the fourth quarter.
They don't start, and once they get close to that target store, that's when they start. Okay, we're gonna tighten up now. I've never seen anything like that, because when I came up in the era of basketball, if you didn't play hard, you didn't play. I don't care. You could be as talented, dominant. It didn't matter. If you didn't play hard, you didn't play. And I think the NBA has a serious problem, Cam. This All-Star weekend, it's probably going to be some of the lowest ratings ever. The format, in my opinion, is...
we didn't even get to that.
Talk about it, Cam.
But the format, the four different teams, and each the winner plays the other winner. I'm like, I won't even go into a whole lot, Mike. It's just ridiculous. It's just, as far as my opinion, it's East versus West. Call it a day. Let's just play like you on the playground. Let's be competitive. You you let a guy just blow past you. You don't even give it. You just look like this, Mike. I'm like, okay, all right, that was nice. It's just, the game has gotten to the point where why even have the game?
Exactly.
Exactly. I know it's supposed to be entertainment, but man, don't you got some type of competitiveness?
That's not entertainment. Part of the entertainment. Well, okay, listen, Ken. Okay, Tank Davis has a fight coming up. I don't know what the outcome gonna be, but what I'm say like this: if you slip with Tank Davis, he gonna knock you out. Okay. Why do we watch? We don't want a non-competitive fight.
No,
we don't want a guy to go in there and just. No, we want to see some back and forth. We might have a favorite, but we want to see some back and forth. The NBA game is no longer that, man. And so when people say entertain, yeah, what is entertainment? Entertainment, competitiveness is at the core of entertainment. Any sport. Why you watch Michael Phelps swim? Because he was gonna go out there and get it.
Get it right.
But them boys was working hard to get it from him. So what I'm saying is you cannot take away the competitiveness of the game and expect for it to remain entertaining, because it's not. It's boring. It's like a movie that's a train wreck that you watching. The ratings is toe up, but you want to check it out anyway, Ken, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
you just oh man, this is terrible, man. Why am we watching this? It's the same thing with the NBA, man. I think they should do away with it. I know why they keep it, because of the money. I understand.
But I'm gonna say this and we'll move on, Mike. Is that the players are complaining about the format, but what you doing about it?
That's the point.
If you're not gonna you get named to be the All-Star, but you're not playing to be competitive. That's why they changing the format. Kevin Durant, he made his issues with it, and some other players made theirs. I'm like, well, hey, play hard. Let's just say, I'm gonna say, play hard, be competitive. But they don't want to do that, Mike. They just want to go up and down the court. Like there's no, how can I put it? There's no professionalism as far as the game is concerned to me. But
they don't. I completely agree with you. They could solve this simply by going to Adam and saying, "Look, we gonna ball. Let's just go east-west. We gonna ball."
Right.
That would solve the whole issue. Like we are gonna compete. Let's go back and do it the way we used to. We used to love to see our stars come together, man, for that all-star game, put on those uniforms. Are they going to put on East and West? What the color going to be this? What's going to be the love? You know what I'm saying? Like, we were all excited for that, man. Now, bro, I'm not even, I'm going to be honest. I don't even think I'm going to even look at it, Ken, to be honest with you, man.
Oh, come on, Mike. You got to take a little bit.
Nah, bro. Nah, man.
I'm going to take,
listen. You look at it for us and you can give us a report on it, because I wasted enough time with All-Star Weekend, man. I got things I need to do. But anyway, Ken, let's talk
about the
go ahead.
Real quick. I call him Big Mac. So the guy plays for Orlando. He's won back-to-back. So this would be his three-peat.
Oh, you talking about the dunk contest?
Dunk contest, yeah. So, Mike, he did a Blake Griffin jumping over the car, in which he came prepared to defend his championship. You got to give it to him. And the young man can jump off the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So, dunk contest could be more, I'll say, creative, but, it is what it is. But I have to hand it to him. He defended his title, I'll put it that way, and proved that he deserved to win.
Well, I'll say this. I saw some highlights.
Okay.
I ain't gonna waste my time and watch it live and watch. I saw Andre miss like 3-4 dunks or whatever.
Nervous.
Matt. Yeah, you got to give Matt. Matt is a competitor. You see what I'm saying? Like he's a competitor. He comes to compete. So I have to give him his respect, because even when he playing for the G League team, he out there trying to compete, man. He ain't out there playing around. And even when he's got some time in the league, he's trying to compete. So he's just a dude that is going to be true to the game, and I respect that for him. He can jump out the gym. He got hops. My problem was I just didn't like the fact that every dunk he did was assisted. I'm saying, bro, grab that ball, take off, and do so. Now to me, Castle got robbed. Castle has some dunks, bro. That one he spent around and with the left hand. Come on, man. I wanted Matt, maybe because he's a shorter dude, he's got smaller hands. It's easier for him, to not to go around the back and maneuver and all that other kind of stuff. So that's the only thing. I don't think you can get a 50 on all your dunks if they're all assisted. They're all assisted. I want to see you do something yourself, right?
By yourself,
and
right.
Jumping over a car, grabbing a ball. He got ups and dunking 2 balls. There's one that's right there. I don't know. I respect the work that he put in, because that's not something you just roll the car out and do. So he's been working on that. You know what I mean? So I give him respect for the work that he did. But I thought Castle got down, man. I thought some of the dunks he did was like, ooh, yeah. That's nice right there. That reminded me of some old school stuff. Like I was like, ooh, that's nice. And this idea, I heard some say that he's coming for Vince Carter's title.
Man, stop.
Why are we prisoners of the moment? Why are we prisoners of the moment? Are you serious?
Man, stop.
Vince, stop it. That's blasphemy.
It's not even happening. It won't happen. But anyway, let's move on, Mike.
Greatest dunker ever, man. Vince Carter.
Yeah.
In-game dunker, doesn't matter. That boy was unreal. Dominique was unreal, but he was a notch above the Neek. And I just, man, come on. Don't even say that. They should have slapped the taste out of somebody's mouth who said that, man. That might have been Reggie Miller. I don't know, man. He still should be getting slapped if he said that. Come on. Stop it, man. You can't even put that on the same chart. But Trey, let's in closing, Ken, let's talk a little bit about, we haven't had a chance to go into the trade. First of all, the Luka trade with LA that sent Anthony Davis, and we know that the other part of the trade has been rescinded by now. What were your thoughts, man, initially when you heard that Luka was headed to Los Angeles?
My God, and it was reports that health and conditioning. Look at what, 25, 26, somewhere around there.
Yes, sir.
I did not understand why Dallas made that move. Let's just say Luka, we see it that he plays, let's just say the first 10, 15, 20 games to get in shape. Okay, I get it. Hey, Luke, you need to, work out in the off season, get yourself, be ready to go, so on and so forth. That would have been my approach. Mm-hmm. And maybe they did, maybe they said that, but me as a general manager, I wouldn't trade Luka for AD if I was Dallas. That's just me, mm-hmm. And then you just went to the finals too. Nah, and we talked a little bit about it on the last show, mm-hmm. About this, but I just don't understand it. I mean, who got the better of the trade? I would say LA, because you get a 20, 25, 26-year-old, let's just say superstar of the league right now. LeBron's probably going to retire. Let's just say a year or two, whenever. They're going to try to put some pieces around him. So we'll see what happened. I mean, then the thing about it, the other part of it on Dallas end, AD, he's hurt again, and we don't. I think they said 2 weeks he may come back. So I don't get it. The fans in Dallas, they in the uproar. Brought the coffin to the in
brought
front
the
of the
coffin out, bro. Hold on now. They brought the coffin out, man. I said, man, they
the
love
arena.
him in Dallas, bro.
Right.
Ooh, they love him in Dallas, bro.
And they giving refunds to season ticket holders, and I'm just so it's Jason Kidd, and I can't think of the gentleman's name who's the general manager. They under fire right about now.
Yeah, I mean it. Like you said, we talked briefly about it. Man, like you say, Ken, but Luka is not even in his prime yet. And Luka has been a 5-time, I believe, first team All NBA since he's been in the league. And if your reason is this man is got too much weight on him. Now, one thing what Luka needs to work hard is on defense. Now, I can understand that criticism. His weight.
Oh yeah.
Man, come on, man. Luka was leading the league in scoring. He averaging what? Come on, man. This dude is dominant. And if you gonna get rid of him because you say he overweight, listen, okay. First of all, it's not like the dude is out of shape. He might be carrying around a few more pounds than what you might want him to be. But if he's comfortable in his skin and in his weight, and he 5-time and he always in the MVP, look at Jokic. Jokic look a little chubby.
Little. But anyway.
But one of the baddest dudes in the game. Some people will argue the baddest dude in the game. So, man, listen, miss me with all of that, man. Dallas didn't like, I don't think, simply the amount of power Luka had in the organization. And the new ownership, they wanted, when Mark sold the majority, he didn't have that say-so. So he couldn't, wasn't nobody going to mess with Luka as long as Mark was there. He left. Now it's time. You know how it is. You get a new boss. You know what I'm saying? You know that dude over there that do what he want to do. You know what I'm saying, Ken? He come in when he want to come in. He leave when he want to leave. He hitting all his numbers, but he doing his own thing. All of a sudden, you get a new boss. And what all you hear, Steve to the manager's office. And he say, "No, bro, you gotta be here at 8. You gonna be here to 5. We gonna, you know what I'm saying?" And then you get that tension. And in my opinion, that's what happened. It was all about who's gonna control that thing. LA, for me, LeBron needs to go. He needs to go. That right there is Luka's team. You and Luka are you've had your run. You've done what you needed to do. You've got your records. Now it's to get out of the way so that new talent can flourish. I believe as long as LeBron is there, that's going to be an obstacle to their growth. But I guarantee you, when he leave and Luka get the keys, some banners going to be raised in LA. Okay. I hate to say it, but some banners going to be raised in LA. Some folks going to come back, and Luka is the perfect dude to be the face of the NBA. And Ken, besides for Dirk Nowitzki, who can we say? And he did that role in Dallas, which is a smaller market. When has another international player been the face of one of these major markets? Ooh. Boston, LA, New York. It don't happen. And so this dude, do you imagine, man, what this is going to do for international basketball? If the Lakers start winning championships, and the dude that's the face,
it's going to explode.
Come on. Again, it was a great move by LA. I'm gonna give them something, man.
Oh, yeah.
They just got to get LeBron out. He's no. It's a changing of the guard now. You got to go. And one thing I will say, I was kind of shocked that Bronny wasn't in the Rising Stars game.
Oh man.
So Ken, let's so the trades.
Well, let's go to this one, Mike, real because I know we're gonna run out of time. But so the Warriors get Jimmy Butler, and basically Miami gets Andrew Wiggins. I mean, there were some other players involved, but that's what it came up. I think we saw that Jimmy forced his way out. He wanted to go to Phoenix, which didn't happen. So how do you think Jimmy's gonna fit in Golden State?
They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. I'll give it probably this year, maybe next year, and then it's gonna be on. Jimmy has never been happy. I mean, the what they say, the greatest predictor is past experience. It's the greatest predictor of the future. And so past behavior is the greatest predictor of the future behavior. So that's, to me, I don't see him. I don't know. I see Jimmy doing the same thing once he gets dissatisfied and once things don't win, they don't go where they want to go. We'll see. But other people say, the organization is so great, Ken, that, they can check him. Well, Philly couldn't check him. Minnesota couldn't check him. The Heat couldn't check him. So Chicago couldn't check him. But somehow, guess what? The Golden State Warriors can check him. Okay. Well, it remains to be seen. I'm disappointed in it. I thought that the Warriors should have made some different moves. And but again, bad example. The way Jimmy did it, I understand. Get your money, brother. I have no problem with that. Get your money.
Oh, no.
But you got to be professional. And while you moving, there is no loyalty. Let's be honest. Okay, Khris Middleton. We can transition and finish with the Bucks. There is no loyalty when it comes down to the business of basketball. But if you listen to that letter Khris Middleton penned.
Oh, man.
Mike. Let me tell you something.
So let me set.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me set this up right now. So Khris Middleton goes to Washington for Kyle Kuzma. Some other players involved too, but basically those two swapped. So Khris has been with the Bucks since he was drafted. Well,
12 years, right? It's been 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years, right? Kyle Kuzma has been with LA and then get won a ring with LA. And then got traded to Washington. Man, I think the general manager for the Milwaukee Bucks mentioned that was probably the hardest trade he had to make. Man, Khris is that dude on and off the court. In the letter that he's they printed it in the Journal Sentinel. Man, it was deep. He loved Milwaukee, man, and as far as community wise, Khris was there. I mean, not just giving the money, but showing up too, and helping out. So you can't ask no more than that.
Man, Ken, let me tell you how much I love Khris Middleton. I got socks with Khris Middleton's face on it. Number 22, baby. You know what? I'm a fan of Khris, man. I'm a fan of Khris the person. You hear me, man? You see so many basketball players. Yeah, they do a little something, but Khris is a type, like you said, man. I'm gonna echo what you said. He's just a class dude, man. I look at the way Drew left and how he left night and day. Class act, man. And it was a hard decision, but it was the right decision. It was the right decision given the business of basketball, given the fact that they were over the second apron, which penalized them. Yeah. They couldn't make certain moves. Given the fact that Khris could never fully get healthy. And I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to give the Bucks organization credit here. They gave Khris a lot of time. I mean, they really did. I mean, there were fans calling for Khris to go a year ago. Oh, and Bucks fans were like, nah, and there were fans that said, no, we want Khris. Let Khris get healthy. And he could never get there, man. That Drew, when Drew left, that hurt. But it wasn't none compared when Khris left. That was But I understood it had to be done. Given the new CBA rules, there was no possible way they could add to that team to make that team better, to almost compensate for some of what Khris had lost with his injury. Right. I would have rather seen him not go to Washington. I'm just going to keep it real. Washington, man, is where players go to die.
Right, exactly.
Man, I know Kyle was like, man.
I'm glad I'm out of there. Right.
You see how happy Kuz is, man. And Kuz is doing exactly what he do. And it's only gonna get better. And when he get on the court with Giannis and Dame, and boy, that Michael Porter Jr., Doc. We go ahead, Ken.
Mike, to be honest with you, is that it is a business, and you can be traded tomorrow. And
yep.
And that's it. But this trade is, it was almost like a real personal for a lot of folks, because they hated to see Khris go.
Yeah.
Tough decision, but that's just part of the game, man.
It's part of the game, man. And I often tell people I'm a Bucks fan. I'm not a player fan. I like players. I like Giannis. I like if he went somewhere. I like, but I'm not gonna not be a Bucks fan because Giannis traded somewhere else. I'm a Bucks fan. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna support the Bucks and I wish Khris the best and we'll see what becomes of his remaining years in the league. But your analysis of the Milwaukee Bucks after getting the trade after the deadline, think about them as a healthy organization. Where do you see the Bucks now?
Mike, they still too inconsistent for me. You got Giannis out. We really don't know how long he's going to be out. They said a week or two. That's going to play in there trying to be consistent. I think Kuz can help them as far as because they just get out rebounded every game after game.
Yeah.
I think Porter, Mike, he may be the difference.
Yeah.
Porter,
Yeah. There's rumors that they might go after Reggie Jackson in the buyout and for another point guard just to give Dame some breathers, which I don't. If you move Michael Porter Jr. more to the 2 spot, then he can really give you what he is capable of because that boy's got a bag, and that bag is deep. And
he was drafted by the Bucks originally. So,
that is correct.
They know about him.
And the best thing I guess I'll say, Ken, and you can have the last word. The best thing I'll say is that I see a Bucks team now. I hate to see AJ Johnson go. I hate to see that young boy go. But what I see now is a Bucks future, which I didn't see post Giannis. They got younger. They got some players. They got Livingston. They got Jack. They got some players, AJ Green. They got some players they can build with years coming, and they were not in that position. And that's what Khris moving on allowed for them to say, yeah, we can be good for some years moving forward. Last word, Ken.
I agree with you, Mike. But the thing about it is that, Mike, I'm going to say people may disagree with me or what. I think that the crutch of this problem in Milwaukee right now, Doc Rivers.
He got to be able to. Yeah.
I know that's another show, Mike.
You open up a can of worms because we've always had concerns about his rotation and using players and putting players in, and it's a shame that none of them players got enough time to even be considered for the Rising Star game, and that's simply the fact. They just didn't play.
Right, and, exactly.
You look at those other players; they're engaged, they're involved. Doc don't even give you 2 or 3, 5 minutes in the game. He don't give you nothing if
Mike,
you're young.
All Doc give you is DNP.
Folks, you heard it there, Ken. The last word. We have to be concerned about what Doc is going to do with this new team. The world of sports unites us. Let us take this unity in our everyday life. This is why they play the game.